什么？有兵没有懂一件事情。
西区作案偷袭得逞，事情证实
不懂打仗。
这是。
他的招。修仙之人。
多人能破吗？不在，你们赶快分头进，一定要守住城门呐！
师叔，
师叔，
定是文仲使了什么法？
太笨了！
快进去，将远离门窗。
父亲的交情上一样东西，
什么？
绑就在他
进去。
神把而来呀！火遁！后遁！
不愧是邓九，
马上停！
快把封神榜给我！王的命令，所有被禁光，我会违背。
那小皮呀！我们就再钓一次鱼。时觉就自破。
去！
姬发，你跑太慢了。英雄，你不。
车中文正的额正眼。
参与，快！忘了，你喝了我的符水。
对不起，
你救了西芹。
你们唱的那首歌，我想再听一次。
河水汪洋，何不路长？将军请留步。与同志有哪何不？
住手！见我鹰叫，是就杀了我！朱祁埋在地堂内。
你是太子，最多被人骂愚忠。我宁可
自己的是愚蠢。你回去告诉殷寿，这一步。
峡谷内这绿毛大鸟，有人！
官夫，活干得到什么的？
将军，唱这种淫妇，
大声点儿！
西芹激发！ 阴兽，我死也不会放过你。
Hey guys, today we're diving back into the epic, mythical saga with a recap of Fengshen 2, The Return of the Storms. If you thought the first one left you hanging like a particularly stubborn curtain, you're not wrong. We pick up exactly where we left off, with the fate of the realm precariously balanced. This sequel plunges us deeper into the celestial conflicts, the mortal struggles, and the very weighty burden of destiny. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. So let's get into it, shall we? After the events of the first film, King Zhou's grip on power, though outwardly firm, is internally crumbling faster than a cookie in a blender. We see him in his opulent palace, but it's less a seat of power and more a gilded cage. He's tormented by visions, whispers of celestial judgment, and the chilling echoes of Daji's manipulative counsel. The metallic clang of his armor, usually a symbol of authority, now sounds heavy, almost dragging him down. His advisors, particularly the more ancient ones, exchange uneasy glances as he rants about omens and divine retribution, completely missing the fact that he's the biggest omen problem they have. It's clear that Daji's influence has twisted his perception, making him paranoid and ruthless and, frankly, a bit of a drama queen. Meanwhile, Jifa, having barely escaped the previous film's climatic battle, finds himself in a less than ideal situation. He's got a handful of loyal warriors, a whole lot of doubt, and a kingdom that's basically a mess. They're camping out, making do with what little they have. The cold bite of the mountain air and the crunch of leaves underfoot emphasize their vulnerable position. He feels the weight of his father's legacy and the expectations of his people pressing down on him, a burden heavier than any armor. He's questioning everything, his leadership, his destiny, and whether he's truly cut out to challenge a divinely backed tyrant. It's less heroic comeback and more existential crisis with swords. Just when things seem bleakest, our favorite celestial strategist, Zhang Zier, reappears. He's found chilling out by a serene river, looking all calm and collected, probably having a nice cup of celestial tea. His voice is a low, steady rumble, full of ancient wisdom, cutting through Jifa's angst. Zhang Zier reminds him that true leadership isn't about brute force, but about cultivating virtue and uniting people. He emphasizes that the path ahead is fraught with trials, some physical, some spiritual, and that Jifa must forge not just an army, but a destiny. The sound of the flowing water almost seems to echo his calm words, a gentle reminder that some things, like fate, just keep moving. Inspired by Zhang Ziy's wisdom, Jifa begins to rally support. His voice, initially hesitant, grows in strength as he addresses villagers and weary warriors. He speaks of freedom, justice, and throwing off the yoke of tyranny, words that resonate deep in their hearts. The murmurs of the crowd grow into a unified cheer, a rising crescendo that signifies renewed hope. The sound of swords being drawn, not in aggression, but in a pledge of allegiance, sends a chill down your spine, the good kind, though. It's like a grassroots movement, but with more magical beasts and fewer protest signs. People are ready to follow him, not because he's a king, but because he's a leader who genuinely cares. A refreshingly rare commodity in this grimdark fantasy world. Back in Zhouj, Daji continues to weave her sinister web. She's not just a pretty face, folks. She's a master manipulator, whispering poison into King Zhou's ear, making him even more irrational and cruel. Her voice is like silk, soft and alluring, but with an underlying sharpness that cuts deep. She convinces him that Jifa is not just a rebel, but a tool of rebellious deities, a threat to his divinely appointed rule. The clinking of her ornate jewelry is almost the only sound in the tense room, a subtle counterpoint to her insidious words. King Zhou, already teetering on the brink, succumbs further to her influence, his eyes betraying a growing madness. Honestly, at this point, he might as well wear a sign that says, "I'm being manipulated by a fox spirit." It'd save everyone a lot of trouble. Jifa's newfound army faces its first true test in a narrow mountain pass. The wind howls, carrying the distant scent of fear and impending conflict. King Zhou's forces, far superior in numbers and equipment, spring an ambush. The clash of steel is deafening, a cacophony of shouts, grunts, and the swing of swords meeting shields. Jifa, despite the overwhelming odds, fights with a ferocity born of conviction, his movements fluid and deadly. He leads by example, inspiring his men to hold their ground. The rocks underfoot are slick with rain and effort, making every step a challenge. It's a brutal reality check, reminding them that enthusiasm alone won't win this war. They take heavy losses, but they learn valuable lessons about cohesion and survival, proving that even a small, determined force can make a dent, even if it's just a tiny ding. Just when Jifa's forces are about to be overrun, a familiar, fiery blur descends. It's Nezir, our favorite hot-headed demigod, who shows up in a glorious burst of divine power. Probably a little late, as usual, but impactful nonetheless. His fire-tipped spear crackles with energy, scorching the ground with every powerful swing. The whoosh of his cosmic will cutting through the air, followed by the sickening thud of impact, sends King Zhou's soldiers scattering like startled pigeons. He's a whirlwind of destruction, a one-man army, or rather, a one-god-child army, turning the tide of battle with raw, unadulterated divine fury. His laughter echoes across the battlefield, a clear sign that he's enjoying this, perhaps a little too much. It's like watching a cheat code activate in real time, and honestly, we're all here for it. With Nez's timely rival, the battle ends, leaving King Zhou's forces in disarray. This marks the formalization of a celestial mortal alliance. Zhang Zier, ever the pragmatist, immediately begins devising new strategies with Jifa, while Nezir, still buzzing with combat energy, offers to blow things up. The sound of their voices, a blend of ancient wisdom, youthful arrogance, and mortal determination, fills the small tent. Jifa, standing between the two formidable figures, finally feels a flicker of true hope. He realizes he's not alone in this fight. He has allies with power beyond his comprehension. It's a relief you can almost feel, the weight on his shoulders easing just a fraction. Even if it does mean he now has to babysit a demigod back at the palace. Daji, clearly annoyed by Jifa's persistent rallying, decides to up the ante. In a hidden, unholy chamber beneath the palace, she performs a grotesque ritual. Eerie green light pulses, accompanied by guttural chants that make your skin crawl. Shadowy figures, twisted and menacing, writhe and coalesce from the ground, their forms solidifying into horrifying demonic generals. The air grows thick with a metallic, sulfurous smell. The screams of spectral beings echo through the cavern, a chilling symphony to Daji's dark intentions. She's not just playing chess anymore. She's flipped the board and unleashed the Kraken. Or, several Krakens, which is far worse for GFA. Jifa's forces, now growing in number and confidence, march towards a strategic stronghold. But their path is blocked by one of Daji's new lieutenants, a grotesque, multi-limbed demon general, followed by an army of smaller, equally hideous creatures. The air fills with the piercing screech of the demons and the frantic beating of monstrous wings. This isn't just a battle, it's a horror show. The ground trembles with the impact of the general's heavy steps. Jifa fights bravely, but the demons are relentless, their claws tearing through armor and flesh with sickening wet sounds. It's clear that their conventional weapons are largely ineffective, leaving Jifa and his allies bewildered and on the defensive against this new, supernatural threat. When all seems lost against the monstrous general, Neza bursts onto the scene, full of righteous fury. He laughs in the face of the demon's grotesque appearance, probably calling it something rude, then unleashes the full might of his divine powers. The fire-tipped spear whistles through the air, leaving trails of superheated flames. The demon roars, a deafening sound that rattles teeth, but Neza is unfazed. Their clash sends shockwaves through the ground, kicking up dust and debris. The metallic clang of Neza's spear against the demon's chitinous armor is a furious rhythm. It's a spectacular light show of divine energy versus dark magic, with explosions and powerful impacts that make the very earth rumble. Spoiler alert, the demon does not win the beauty contest, nor the actual fight. Neza triumphs, but the victory comes at a heavy price. The battlefield is a grim tableau of fallen warriors, both mortal and demon. Jifa walks among his men, his heart heavy with grief. The silence after the intense battle is almost more deafening than the fighting itself, broken only by the whimpers of the wounded. He kneels beside a fallen comrade, his hand resting gently on their cold, still form. The touch of the rough fabric of their uniform, now stained with grime and blood, makes the loss feel painfully real. This isn't just about winning battles. It's about the lives lost, the family shattered, and the soul of his rebellion being tested. He knows that every victory means more sacrifices, a crushing reality that weighs heavily on his conscience. It's a stark reminder that even with demigods on your side, war is still, well, war. Zhangzia, ever the voice of reason, advises a strategic retreat. He explains that brute force alone won't defeat Daji's demonic legion. They need intelligence, cunning, and perhaps a few more divine interventions. He gestures over a dusty map, tracing lines of troop movements and enemy strongholds. The rustle of the parchment, the flickering candlelight, and the scent of earth and old leather fill the tent. Jifa, though reluctant to fall back, trusts his mentor's wisdom. He agrees, understanding that sometimes the bravest act is to know when to pull back and prepare for the next, even tougher round. It's like knowing when to fold in poker, but with way higher stakes and significantly more fire demons. King Zhou's sanity continues its downward spiral into a deep, dark abyss. He's now prone to violent outbursts, screaming at his advisors and smashing priceless artifacts. The crash of porcelain, the tinkle of glass, and the frantic whispers of servants punctuate his tirades. Daji observes him with a chilling smirk, her power over him almost complete. She even encourages his destructive behavior, feeding his delusions of grandeur and persecution. He's become a puppet, dancing to her demonic tune, unaware that he's merely a pawn in a far grander, more sinister game. Honestly, he makes a teenager throwing a tantrum look like a picture of composure. Someone get this man some therapy, or at least a really long vacation from Daji. During their strategic retreat, Zhangzia guides Jifa on a spiritual quest. Jifa meditates in a secluded, echoey cave, seeking inner peace and clarity. He experiences powerful visions, glimpses of ancient gods, the celestial war, and his own place within the grand tapestry of destiny. The whispers of the wind through the cave entrance seem to carry the voices of ancestors. He learns that his fight isn't just for a throne, but for the very balance of the cosmos. This spiritual growth strengthens his resolve, making him not just a warrior, but a true leader chosen by the heavens. It's like a really intense leadership seminar, but instead of trust falls, you get divine revelations and terrifying prophecies. As Jifa emerges from his meditative state, a magnificent jade dragon, its scales shimmering like polished emeralds, descends from the heavens. Its roar, deep and resonant, vibrates through the very ground. The dragon speaks in a voice that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, bestowing upon Jifa ancient knowledge and a powerful artifact. This divine intervention signifies that the heavens have officially thrown their weight behind Jifa, confirming his chosen status. It's a huge morale boost, both for Jifa and for us viewers, because who doesn't love a good dragon cameo? Plus, a powerful artifact? That's basically a magical power-up, and everyone knows those are crucial for boss battles. With the Jade Dragon's blessing and new insights, Jifa's army begins to transform. Under the guidance of Neza and Zhangzia, they undergo rigorous training, not just with swords and spears, but with celestial techniques and a few handy magical trinkets. The crack of practice swords, the focused grunts of exertion, and the occasional burst of elemental magic fill their training grounds. Neza, surprisingly, takes his role as drill sergeant quite seriously, pushing the soldiers to their limits, probably with a lot of sarcastic commentary. Zhangzia, meanwhile, imparts tactical wisdom, teaching them how to counter Daji's demonic forces. They are no longer just a rebel army. They are becoming a force capable of facing divine and demonic threats. It's basically an extreme makeover, Army Edition. Daji, realizing her conventional demons aren't cutting it, unleashes her next big gun, the Golden Horn Demon, a brute with immense strength and illusionary powers. Its guttural roar shakes the very ground, and its massive golden horns gleam menacingly. This demon attempts to sow fear and confusion with its illusions, making Jifa's soldiers fight phantoms. The air shimmers with distorted reality, creating a sense of utter disorientation. Jifa, however, remembers his spiritual training and sees through the trickery, guiding his troops with a calm, unwavering voice. The sounds of illusory attacks, followed by the actual thud of real impacts, are incredibly disorienting, but Jifa's focus holds them steady. It's like a really bad VR game where the monster is real and the controller is broken. Amidst the swirling illusions and terrifying phantom attacks, Jifa demonstrates his true leadership. He closes his eyes for a moment, recalling the lessons of his spiritual journey, then opens them with renewed clarity. His voice rings out, cutting through the mental fog, directing his confused soldiers to strike at the real enemy, not the phantoms. The metallic clang of their weapons, now guided by Jifa's unwavering focus, strikes true against the demon's monstrous form. He exposes the demon's tricks, turning its own power against it. It's a testament to his growth, proving that a clear mind is often more powerful than any weapon, even a golden-horned one, once the illusions are broken. Neza, always ready for the spectacular finish, unleashes a devastating assault. His fire-tipped spear ignites with an inferno, engulfing the Golden Horn Demon in a blaze of divine energy. The demon's roars turn to screams of agony as its massive form cracks and shatters like glass. With a final, explosive burst of dark energy, the Golden Horn Demon is utterly obliterated. The resulting shockwave clears the battlefield, leaving behind only the lingering scent of ozone and triumph. Nezer, looking satisfied, probably makes a snarky comment about the demon's golden demise. Another one bites the dust, and Jifa's army gains even more confidence in their divine allies. Back in Zhouge, Daji is absolutely furious. Her soft, alluring facade cracks, revealing the true demonic fury beneath. Her eyes glow an ominous red as she receives news of her general's defeat. The sudden silence in the chamber, heavy with her suppressed rage, is far more terrifying than any scream. King Zhou, meanwhile, is almost completely detached from reality, murmuring about prophecies and ignoring the very real threat Jifa poses. He chuckles to himself, seemingly lost in his own delusions, while Daji seethes. It's honestly a masterclass in don't poke the demon fox and King Zhou is clearly not learning. She vows to unleash something truly catastrophic. Something that will make previous battles look like a friendly game of checkers with their renewed strength and divine backing. Jifa's army marches towards Zhaozh, King Zhou's capital. The city looms on the horizon, massive and imposing, a monument to tyranny, but also a symbol of hope for a new era. The rhythmic thud of thousands of marching feet and the murmur of anticipation fill the air. Jifa looks at it, a mixture of determination and trepidation in his eyes. He knows the battles ahead will be the hardest yet, but his resolve is unbreakable. They are close, agonizingly close, to challenging the very heart of King Zhou's corrupt empire. It's like the final boss level is in sight, and everyone's health bars are still looking pretty good. As Jifa's army nears Zhaozh, Daji makes her final, most desperate move. She sheds her human guise in a terrifying spectacle, revealing her true form, a colossal, terrifying nine-tailed fox demon, wreathed in dark energy. The air crackles with malevolent power, and a guttural roar that seems to rip the fabric of reality sends shivers down every spine. Her 9 tails whip through the air, causing destruction with every movement, and her eyes blaze with ancient malice. This isn't just a demon. It's a force of nature, a primal evil unleashed. The sheer, overwhelming presence of her true form silences even the bravest warriors. Honestly, she puts all those cute fox videos on YouTube to shame. This one definitely doesn't want belly rubs. This is it, the moment we've all been waiting for. The ultimate showdown. Jifa, Nezer, and Zhangzia stand united, a celestial and mortal alliance against the colossal, 9-tailed fox demon. The sounds of their combined forces charging, a mix of human war cries and divine incantations, is electrifying. Neza zips through the air, launching fireballs and spear thrusts that sizzle against Daji's fur. Zhangzia, channeling ancient magic, erects protective barriers and unleashes powerful elemental spells, the whoosh of wind and crackle of lightning echoing across the battlefield. Jifa, leading from the front, uses his enhanced combat skills and a Jade Dragon's artifact to find openings in Daji's defenses, his sword whizzing through the air with every strike. It's an epic clash of titans, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. No pressure or anything. Amidst the chaos of the celestial battle, King Zhou himself emerges from the city. Clad in his ornate but now damaged royal armor, wielding a massive, dark sword. His eyes are wide with a manic gleam, a terrifying blend of fury and despair. He's no longer just a puppet. He's a weapon, twisted and corrupted. He confronts Jifa directly, their blades clashing with a resonant clang that reverberates through the battlefield. Jifa's sword sings through the air, meeting Zhou's dark blade in a flurry of sparks. This isn't just a physical fight. It's a clash of ideologies, of justice versus tyranny, of a king who lost his way against a leader finding his path. It's less a sword fight and more a really intense therapy session with sharp objects. In the midst of their fierce duel, Jifa experiences a heartbreaking moment of clarity. He sees through King Zhou's madness, catching a glimpse of the man he once knew, the respected leader before Daji's corruption. The sharp whistle of his sword pauses for a beat, a moment of hesitation. He doesn't want to just slay a tyrant. He mourns the loss of the man. The heavy thud of their footwork, the grunts of exertion, and the metallic ring of their swords fill the air. This emotional struggle adds a profound depth to their fight, transforming it from a simple battle into a tragic confrontation. It's a classic hero's dilemma: kill the villain or mourn the person they could have been. Tough choice, especially when they're actively trying to skewer you, while Jifa grapples with King Zhou. Nezer and Zhangzia coordinate their powers for a grand, decisive strike against Daji. Nezer harnesses the full power of his fiery abilities, his body glowing like a supernova, while Zhangzia channels ancient celestial energy. his staff crackling with raw power. They unleash a blinding torrent of divine energy and searing flames that engulf the colossal fox demon. The sound is an overwhelming roar, a symphony of destruction and raw power as Daji screams in agony, her dark energy flickering and fading. It's like a superpowered laser show, but with significantly more cosmic consequence and fewer ticket sales. The sheer force of their combined assault is a sight to behold, a testament to their unwavering determination. In a climactic moment, Jifa finally overcomes King Zhou, not with vengeance, but with a sorrowful, decisive blow that ends his corrupted reign. The heavy thud of King Zhou's body hitting the ground, followed by the clatter of his dark sword, marks the end of an era. Simultaneously, Daji's colossal fox form, weakened by the combined assault, shudders violently before dissolving into a swirling vortex of dark smoke and screeching whispers, vanquished for good. The deafening silence that follows is profound, almost surreal, as if the world itself is holding its breath. It's the end of an agonizing chapter, a moment of triumph tinged with the deep sadness of what was lost. Cue the bittersweet victory music. With the tyranny overthrown and the demonic threat banished, the aftermath is a mixture of devastation and a nascent, fragile peace. Jifa surveys the liberated but damaged capital. The crunch of rubble underfoot and the hushed voices of his people, still reeling from the conflict, fill the air. He sees the weary faces, the grief, but also a flicker of hope in their eyes. He knows the true work has only just begun, rebuilding a shattered kingdom, healing a traumatized populace, and ensuring that such darkness never rises again. He speaks to his people, not as a king, but as a leader, offering a future of justice and prosperity. It's less a happily ever after and more a happily ever after. But we have a lot of paperwork and construction ahead of us in a ceremony filled with quiet reverence. Jifa is crowned the new king. The ancient crown feels heavy on his head, not just with gold, but with the immense responsibility it represents. Zhangzi looks on, a knowing smile on his face, the celestial plan now set in motion. Neza, probably trying to look serious for once, stands proudly beside his friend. This isn't just a change of rulers. It's the investiture of a new age, a realignment of cosmic forces, and the dawn of a new dynasty. The echoes of their ancestors, long silenced by tyranny, now sing through the land, a promise of peace. It's a beautiful, if earned, moment of triumph. And with that, Feng Shen defeat wraps up, leaving us with a satisfying conclusion to Jifa's epic journey and the cosmic battle against corruption. And that, my friends, is Fengshen 2, The Return of the Storms. It's a story that reminds us that true power isn't about the strength of your army or the might of your magic, but the conviction in your heart and the purity of your purpose. Jiva's journey from a conflicted prince to a wise king, guided by celestial mentors and bolstered by loyal friends, teaches us about perseverance, sacrifice, and the enduring hope for justice. Even when faced with overwhelming evil, when the path seems impossible, one person's courage can ignite a revolution, inspiring a legacy that resonates through ages, proving that even destiny needs a little nudge in the right direction. Thanks for joining me on this episode.